Spending Pennsylvania tax money and transparency. State Republican lawmakers have questions concerning tax-funded security improvements at the governor's personal house in Abington. Senate Republicans say they didn't know anything about the project, want to know who approved the spending, and think procedures need to be put in place for the future. 10 days ago, subpoenas were issued for documents they want from both state police and Abington Township. That information has still not been provided. And this stems from an incident in April when Governor Shapiro and his family were asleep in the governor's mansion in Harrisburg. Cody Balmer jumped the fence, broke in, and started a fire. Balmer was sentenced to at least 25 years in prison. After the assassination attempt, security audits were done at the mansion and the Shapiro personal home in Abington. NBC 10's Deanna Durante has been looking into this and already has some of the documents lawmakers want that show a timeline and what was purchased. We have been careful to avoid identifying the governor's personal home or divulging any upgrades that may impact security.
The number one priority should be to make sure that our governor is safe, and even more importantly, that his family is safe.
Tracy Pennycuck is a Republican senator from Montgomery County, where the governor lives. She learned of nearly $1 million spent to secure the governor's private home in Abington on October 24th, when a letter was sent to bipartisan House and Senate leadership from the State Department of General Services and state police.
I believe he needs to be protected at his personal residence, too. But $1 million, are those dollars that are being spent on hardened improvements to the property?
That's just one of many questions about the security upgrades. She didn't say what was appropriate for security spending, but adds there needs to be oversight on a project like this.
I think every penny that is spent on securing the governor's personal residence needs to be open to the public.
So you've asked them for what they spent, when they spent it, how they spent it.
And we have not received the level of specificity that you have.
Republican Jarrett Coleman is the chair of the Intergovernmental Relations Committee in the Pennsylvania Senate. He prepared the subpoenas issued on December 9th to the Pennsylvania State Police and Abington Township to explain some of the work and the costs.
Our efforts to find out, for example, how much money has been spent, or how the money's been appropriated, how it was bid. Those have all been, our answers have been stonewalled.
He provided NBC 10 emails with specific questions to the various state agencies that were acknowledged but not answered. NBC 10 was at the governor's home a month before that October letter went to lawmakers. On September 22nd, we watched as electrical work was being done. We filed official public records requests for information with the governor's office and state police that same day. On October 30th, the governor's office sent us 150 pages of documents. They list costs and work timelines. We found in those documents on May 8th an emergency declaration was made by state police that read in part that extensive restructure is needed at the governor's home. By May 29th, a call was set for state police and the governor. By June 19th, a zoning application was filed with Abington Township to add a fence to the property.
How are the services being procured? How are they being bid out? How are they being appropriated? And ultimately, who's approving the payment for these repairs to be made?
By the end of July, a project proposal was sent for design and construction of the security upgrades, according to the documents. The project manager sent an email August 11th saying purchase orders have been submitted but still waiting for approval from the comptroller. The first time costs are discussed in the emails we were provided was on September 3rd, when we see a total estimate of just over $925,000. Items include a fence for $279,000, tree trimming for $93,000, and $320,000 for new landscaping.
We absolutely need to know where every dollar went.
After the motions for subpoenas were released, we reached out to state police, who told us funding for the upgrades would be coming from the Pennsylvania State Police General Operations Funds. We've asked the Shapiro administration multiple times for on-camera interviews. The requests on the topic have not been granted. In November, the governor's office gave us this written statement. Following the assassination attempt on the governor's life and attack on the governor's residence earlier this year, the Pennsylvania State Police and independent security experts conducted thorough reviews to pinpoint security failures, review protocols, identify gaps, and make concrete recommendations for improvements to the governor's security. On December 9th, Senate Democrats fought against the issuing of subpoenas, some saying the Senate was overreaching in its authority, expressing concerns the documents obtained could pose further harm to the governor and his neighbors. Senator Vincent Hughes of Philadelphia and Montgomery County says the threat to the governor and his family extends beyond the April 13th attack.
He is clearly in harm's way, clearly in harm's way. How we go about investigating these things relates, I think, also to getting to the truth and getting to the facts, but also, in addition, how it's handled also can either diminish his harm or make him further exposed. And that is a concern that we all need to take much more seriously.
According to a letter provided to NBC 10 by the governor's office, Governor Shapiro personally asked the Ethics Commission to review the expenses. That letter was dated September 25th, more than a month after purchase orders were submitted. The commission made its decision on October 10th. The State Ethics Commission determined that there were not ethical issues with the improvements, and the governor would not have to reimburse the state. Senator Coleman is concerned about when the Ethics Commission was brought into the process.
To my knowledge, the Ethics Commission would never issue an opinion after the fact.
When we reached out to the Ethics Commission, it confirmed opinions were typically not issued after events. But when we asked why it seemingly had in this case, we were told in an email the commission could not comment on the confidential opinion.
That is deeply disturbing and raises serious ethical questions that need to be answered.
Senate Republicans say it is important that procedures are in place when it comes to paying for future governor's security needs in the wake of rising political violence.
Certainly there's no excuse for any type of political violence. That's never the question. What the question is this going to be a new standard? Are we going to give, in this case, over $1 million to improve the private property of the governor? And what policies and procedures do we have in place as we go through this?
In Harrisburg, Deanna Durante, NBC 10 News.